I bid you welcome, my children, to the Longbox. Like Vincent Price Presents, we have today an anthology comic hosted by a dear departed horror star of days gone by. This, however, is a more traditional anthology like Creepy or Eerie. This is Bela Lugosi's Tales from the Grave. Today we look at issue 2 of these tales, but what makes this different from Creepy or Eerie is that these stories are all originals. Creepy and Eerie had their beginnings in decades past, even reprinting some of those classic stories in their pages. Here, however, we truly see what modern creators can fashion to delight our macabre tastes. While Bela Lugosi is our main host and master, there are 2 others who assist him, the seductive Nosferina and a monstrous little man named Hugo. The 2 settle in to hear some of Lugosi's Tales from the Grave. The first is a little story that is strange to the finish. A salvage vessel comes across a sunken ship from the 1930s, but when the diver goes to examine it closer, all of the life ends up drained from his body. In addition, as a strange storm begins brewing, they discover the bodies of sharks that were ripped open. The captain, not being stupid, quickly decides to get the hell out of there, not knowing that an intruder has climbed aboard ship, an undead sailor with a glowing green eye. If you take a close look, you will be able to find out the true identity of this poor zombie man. Next up is an entertaining romp into the realm of luchadores. Allow me to introduce you to the Walpurgis Knight, said to have been stitched together from dead champion wrestlers. There is a strong tradition of Spanish films about luchador heroes, and this is a tale in that regard. Miss Rachela Alejandro has gone to the Knight to try to get his help in finding her missing sister. At first he says she should call the police, but when he sees her purple eyes, he realizes this is an attempt at a dark ceremony to make a chupacabra beast more powerful than any could imagine. But what is the secret behind this Dark Knight luchadore? Lugosi even gives us a little insight into our old pals, the zombies. It is 1 page only, but very entertaining. Let us move on to a tale told by Nosferina. Order in, take out chaos. Many have said they were disappointed that the Lovecraftian tales told in other stories seem to forget about the idea that a true monster in the vein of Lovecraft would be a cosmic horror story about man's insignificance in the universe. I think if you were to read this tale, they would be pleasantly surprised at the angle this one takes with the idea, as told from the perspective of a little Chinese takeout place, and what tasty mortals we are. Next up is Klaus the Werewolf, which should be appreciated by any who know of lost films like London After Midnight or the Golem movies. This is about a horror buff who goes to conventions to talk of the lost film Klaus the Werewolf, a film supposedly so horrific that studios refused to ever distribute it, and its creator eventually destroyed its only print in a fit of drunken depression before taking his own life. However, the horror buff also has a rival blogger who is meeting someone that may change how everyone sees the film forever. Until he goes missing, anyway. What is the true secret behind the claws of the werewolf and the claw prop that went missing after its creator's death? We end on a humorous little toy story that continues the adventures of Bela Lugosi's character Dr. Voronoff from the Ed Wood film Bride of the Monster. He and his bald, brutish assistant Lobo still plan to create a race of people that will help him conquer the world. his original designs never quite worked, but in this story, he has created a robotic monster that runs amok. Even if it's a wind-up robot, it may be too much for the good doctor to handle.
He tampered in God's domain.
Bela Lugosi's Tales from the Grave is a bit more tongue-in-cheek than the other anthology comics we've seen, but the fun and love for the horror genre are very much present. My children, I will see you tomorrow morning for another tale from the Longbox.